Welcome back. The World Combat League on the air from the Mohegan Sun. New England out to the early lead over New York, 16-0. Now time for match 2.
It's gonna be an all-out war. They call me the cannon because I can hit hard.
Tail of the tape for match number 2. Phillip Quiñones and Shannon Hudson pretty evenly matched, obviously. The difference, though, may come in style. Quiñones, a sport karate champion, and the Cannon Hudson, a national kickboxing champion.
Quiñones is, yeah, as you say, with a sports background, it's going to be interesting to see if he can make that transition into full contact action here. Shannon Hudson, very experienced fighter. It's going to be a tough fight for Quiñones.
Quiñones on the right there in the green. Shannon the Cannon for the New England Strikers in the blue, and good action early on.
Ooh, Hudson with a nice overhand. Oh, look at that.
Hudson right on his back. Where did that come from, he says.
You notice Quiñones ready for that axe kick finish. Luckily, he held it up in the air and didn't bring it down. Yeah, Hudson, I don't think was hurt. I'm not even sure what took him to the mat, but he's up and he's right into it again. Quiñones, though, doing extremely well, again, for a point fighter coming into the full contact world. He's really taking it to Hudson. Hudson, obviously, the more experienced fighter.
Under 2 minutes to go, and great action early on already. This is match number 2 of 6 matches in the first half, and then these fighters will go at it again in the second half. So very important for each individual fighter, for his team or her team. Obviously, we have ladies fighting, to establish early on that they can get a win and really put the other fighter on the defensive for that second half later tonight.
Absolutely, Doug. And as we said, it is a team event. It's not an individual event. So the fighters have a lot standing with the team there on the sides, just really pushing for their team to make a difference in the early rounds of this match.
Boy, Hudson for the New England Strikers really trying to launch something to catch Quiñones by surprise, and unable to get Quiñones to back down. Going to wash the mouthpiece out. Hudson lost his. Slide it back in. Everything okay? Yes, it is. And back to the action with a minute to go now.
Hudson moving in with hands there. Quiñones in amazing shape. Look at the body fat levels of that guy.
Or the lack of body fat
lack
levels.
of. Hudson now starting to take it though to Quiñones.
Quiñones in such good shape, he's got a 12-pack instead of a 6-pack in there.
Starting to tire a little bit now. It's at that stage of the match that the lactic acid builds up. You start to get a bit of oxygen debt happening. This is where the fighter's heart comes in. It's a matter of just pulling out what it takes to be a winner at the end of this 3-minute match.
Well, the New England Striker team cheering on Shannon the Cannon Hudson. He's got his back turned to you right there because they have the early lead at 16-0 in this team event. They would love nothing better than a knockout here late in this match. It would take maybe a bit of a lucky strike at this point. Both guys wearing down a little bit, but both well within the match right now. And they're a nice right knee from Quiñones, but Hudson answers right back.
Yeah, shoved him right down onto the mat. Again, experience should start to tell with Hudson. I would imagine Hudson, just with the experience of knowing what it's like to go the distance, will have a little more in the tank than Quiñones. There's a nice right axe kick from Hudson, then caught on the back of the neck by Quiñones. Hudson with a right round kick. I think it almost caught Quiñones right on the end of the chin there.
And Hudson pushed him there as we end the match. He pushed him toward the end of the match. So you know the blue is the fighting area, yellow is the warning zone, and then if you're in the red and you're inside and throwing points, or if you're out there and throwing points, you're not going to get them scored. But all in all, fairly good first match, which honestly, Richard, felt like it could have gone either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Quiñones did a wonderful job. You see that nice when he dropped his body weight down and drove that right hand into the rib of Hudson. Nice body shot. Quiñones got a good future in this, again, with condition, with stamina, and he's certainly got that ability to stand with a more experienced fighter like Hudson.
Second match in the World Combat League, and Shannon the Cannon Hudson does good stuff for the New England Strikers. 15-10 over Quiñones. So New England 31-10. Nice early lead, but we've got a lot of fighting to go. There's a good look at the mindset inside the locker room for both teams as we head into second half action with New England in the lead. Out of the gates, we'll have Shannon the Cannon Hudson and Phillip Quiñones. And when they met in the first half, Shannon Hudson with a good 15-10 win.
Yeah, it's Hudson's coming in with a psychological advantage due to his win over Quiñones in the first round. It's very hard for a fighter to come back from that sort of a loss on the same night. Quiñones, though, in good shape. He's got a lot of heart, and let's see if he can take it to Hudson in this second round.
Quiñones is going to need to dig deep and find something. New England with the lead, obviously. New York needs to stay in the game. If they go 1 or 2 losses in a row, that could be devastating to the momentum that they've already established by winning the last 3 before the first half.
A little bit like the first round. Quiñones scoring well with those kicks. He's got some nice long-ranging side kicks. He uses that distance well. As you see, there was a front kick followed up with a nice head combination. But Hudson, very experienced fighter. You can see he's just waiting and choosing his mark. And I think the second half is when you see Hudson come into his own once again.
You can easily see, watching Hudson with the height advantage, how much does that play as an advantage for him?
It can be an advantage for Hudson if he uses it, meaning that if he uses the extra range he has in his kicks and basically keeps Quiñones away, then Hudson has an advantage. Quiñones, on the other hand, has to get inside Hudson's reach. Then he will, in turn, have the advantage. I think Hudson, again, with his experience, he's pretty good at keeping the other fighter at the distance that he finds comfortable. Quiñones, again, using those kicks well, though. He likes to use that front foot front kick just to keep the other fighter, again, away. But Hudson still countering very well off Quiñones' attacks. Nice long-ranging left jab from Hudson. Notice he fights equally from a southpaw as well as an orthodox stance. In other words, he's got right foot forward at one time, left foot forward another time. That makes him very flexible and very hard to predict.
A little bit of a knockdown there. Hudson putting Quiñones back. Interesting, I think, the second half here, this seems to be more of a measured fight. Each fighter seems to kind of know the other guy now, and they're taking more almost predictable shots.
Yeah,
to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I think that comes with the strategy. They obviously have a lot of respect for each other. And the one thing you don't want to do is just suddenly barge in on another fighter you have respect for. You can easily be taken out.
And Quiñones gave up a point there to Shannon Hudson, so count 1 point for the New England Strikers and penalty. And back to the action, and if Shannon the Cannon Hudson has the advantage here, then New York and the Clash are not going to be so happy from a team standpoint, giving up obviously a penalty point and a win if it comes to that.
Yeah, it's not the time to be giving away penalties, that's for sure. And this is again where fighters pre-training comes in. You must adjust to these rules. If you're used to Muay Thai rules or kickboxing rules, you'll have to readjust. You have to relearn a lot of very reflexive movements. As I said, by not clinching, by following up leg kicks straight away with hand combinations, etc.
Well, the Strikers and Hudson certainly feel that they won that one. Judges will give us the final score against three judges. It's the 5-point must system. Both guys out of gas, and rightly so. It was a pretty good match.
A nice right hand counter there from Hudson. But Quiñones just not quite finding his reach there. He nearly hit the mark with that right hand to the chin of Hudson.
Shannon the Cannon Hudson on your right, New England Strikers in the blue, and yes, kind of almost as predicted, Hudson 15-8 over Quiñones. So that is good news for the New England Strikers. New York still some work to do. New England leading now 97-73, and we've got 5 more matches to go in the second half.